How's it going, guys? Welcome back to the channel. Hope you're all doing well. So here we are with our first Caldera video, where I'm going to be giving you some tips and tricks which I have learnt from my first day of playing. Obviously a lot of you would not have played it yet if you don't own Vanguard, so these are some tips to get you going and just some things to think about before you land in. So we'll get straight into the tips now and hope you enjoy the video. So the first tip is about looting up and getting some good gear. Basically you can't buy a loadout until the first normal loadout drops, and that's about 10 minutes into the game, so it can be a bit of a slow start. So don't stress too much about finding like $10,000 like we used to in Verdansk, because pretty much you're not going to be able to buy it anyway until later on. But you may as well find a lot of loot and save up your money until later, and then you can get ghosts as soon as the first loadout drops in. But also just, loot up, do contracts, just get a lot of money. You'll find by the time the loadout comes in, you're going to have a lot of money to spare. So you want to get some UAVs and things like that going. And I'd also say just probably avoid hot dropping, and as there's not really, as I said, not much of a rush to get fast money because there's no loadout purchase. So if you land in a less popular area, you can build up more loot over time rather than risk dying. This is, of course, unless you want kills. So if you see a couple teams landing where you are, I probably wouldn't even go for it unless you want to try and get a high kill game. So just a couple little tips about the new environment in the game. Obviously we didn't have as many trees and mountains inside of Verdansk, so in this game there's a lot more vegetation. This can make it a lot harder to see your enemies. Obviously the visibility is harder to see with trees and bushes everywhere, so you may be rotating and then sometimes you'll just literally bump into a team, so always keep your guard up on that. You can also use this to your advantage to make easier flanks and to get behind the enemies, and rotating. Say your team is fighting somebody, you can quite easily flank up a hill through some trees and you won't get spotted as easily as if you were in, say, Verdansk in like an open field area. And also just make use of the elevation around the mountainous areas towards the mid-map, like the volcano area and stuff, because height advantage in this game is huge. Once again, obviously, you're always going to have that height advantage over your enemy. You can look down on them, you can use the hill to head glitch and pop different angles and things like that. I may make a full video on height advantage, so stay tuned for that if you're unsure on what I mean. But always make use of that, and then also utilize your parachute in these hilly areas, because you can glide very, very far in this game because there's a lot of elevation. And then, like I said before, ground loot is going to be very important. Just some guns to keep an eye out for. The NZ41, I'm sure you may have seen some of the YouTubers mention this. This thing absolutely slaps. And then personally, I've been using the MP40 and STG. These also slap, but sometimes you will get the glitch with the STG where you can't see the gun. So just keep an eye out for that. It's kind of annoying. And then, of course, the BAR or the bar, and then the automaton as well. These are just some nice guns to keep an eye out for. Now, early on in the game, UAVs are going to be essential, simply because nobody can get ghosts until that first loadout drops in. So if you want to play aggressive and get kills, then this is the time to do it. If you can hop in like a plane or just get in the big truck, pop UAVs, then this is going to be key to getting some high kills, because they're not really going to expect it. And a lot of the times you can catch people that are crossing out in rotations. So if you're on the map and you see people in a built up area in buildings, or you see a team like in an open field or like a trees area, I'd probably go for the people in the open area. Just sort of keep an eye on the map as well, just know how to use it to your advantage properly. But yeah, get those UAVs going. And a few things have changed in price as well. So the UAVs are now 6,000. I'm guessing this is because there's more loot on the ground, and you're pretty much, it's there's no loadout to buy, so they may as well make that more expensive, I guess. But there we go, use those UAVs. So we've got a few new events inside of Caldera, and we've also got new contracts as well, a few different things here and there. Thought I'd clear them up for you. So later on every game you're going to find a nice fire sale comes in, and this lasts a lot longer than the old fire sale. You can actually see it on screen now how slow it's counting down. So you want to utilize this, and if you keep this in mind, then you can get yourself revives, or you can revive your teammates. It's very, very easy to get advanced UAVs going as well, because as I said before, you're going to have a lot of loot, so even if you didn't buy a loadout, or even if you did, you should still have a lot of money by this point. And I believe in a fire sale, a UAV is 1,200, so it's very easy to get those advanced going. As you'll see there on screen, you can see at the bottom 1,200 for the UAV, and we just sort of pop them just to sort of get going. But yeah, just utilize that. And then also you're going to get the restock, which is a pretty cool one, where literally, like, I'm not 100% sure what circle it is, but pretty late on in the game, you're going to get a restock of every crate and every chest that's inside of the game. So bear this in mind if you see it pop up and you remember where you just looted a crate. It's always worth to sort of loot back around and go back there to loot up once again. And then one of the new contracts is going to be the supply crate one, which if you see green smoke in the air, then you know this is an enemy's supply crate. Basically what this does, just drops in a big, it looks like a loadout drop, but a big crate, and you can sort of take it and it'll give you some guns, maybe some loot. You can get some decent stuff from this, but I also got one of the rocket launchers the other day, that's all. So, you know, it's not the best, it's not the most reliable, but it's always worth doing, because it doesn't, if you pick up the contract yourself, it doesn't spawn in too far away. All you've got to do is go over to the green smoke. Just be warned, this will attract a little bit of attention, but that's fine anyway. And then also there's the random contract, which you sort of pick up and it will give you one of the contracts, so it has a question mark on it, so just bear that in mind when you're sort of picking it up. It can give you good things, but I've only picked it up 3 times I think, and I've had like 2 recons and then 1 supply run, so yeah, bear that in mind. Now when you're grabbing your loadout, I made this mistake on my first game, so I wanted to see what happened. Basically, when you're grabbing your loadout, make sure you don't pick up Modern Warfare or Cold War guns. These will have little red triangles by them in the loadout screen if you're wondering what that was. This basically means a restricted item. So similar to on the CDL playlist, when you sort of try and use something that's banned or whatever, you know, it's not going to let you use it. But if you do this in Caldera, then they're basically just going to swap it out for something. Like I think I picked up my Kar 98 and like AK class or OTS, and it just gave me like an STG and a pistol or something like that. So yeah, it's not the best, but you can still say you have, I don't know, an AK, a Cold War AK Ghost class, and then on your second loadout, if you grab that, and then you can just pick up your Vanguard guns and get Ghosts anyway. So you can keep the perks because the perks are still the same, but yeah, just make sure you don't accidentally grab it and you should be left with just a basic gun. Also, just a quick tip about the GULAG. It's obviously changed. It's a lot smaller now, which I'm sure a lot of you will like. I try and push the first middle room, peek over. If he's not pushing in, I'll check the right. And a lot of the times he'll be in one of these points. But if not, just use your headphones, you know, to hear where he is. But similar to in Iron Trials, basically you'll spawn back in if you win with the same gun that you use. So if you're in there and you get an STG and you use half the ammo, then you'll spawn in with the STG with half the ammo still. I really like this touch because it sort of leaves you feeling less useless when you sort of spawn in if you just have a pistol. But yeah, it's just a little tip to remember, so don't be scared to land on your loot if you died, and you can probably fight to get it back as well because you'll have a decent gun, depending on what you get, of course. And then just a little touch on SBMM, so skill-based matchmaking. This feels like it's very strict at the moment, like your lobbies will actually just be based off your skill level all the time. Like, I think I'm a 1.87, I've been in like 1.5, 1.6 lobbies, so I know it's not exactly the same, but I saw that Juki's on Twitter is also in 1.6 lobbies, so that gives you an idea of how sweaty they've been. But nonetheless, it's decent, you know, you're playing against your same skill level, which is always good, but just be prepared for sweats. So if you're a lower level player, then you know you're going to be playing against people your own level, which is always good. But these lobbies, it's hard to find sort of just chill out your game because you're constantly just sweating and just sort of taking out players that play out there in the CDL. But yeah, just keep that in mind. So guys, that's going to do it for some of these basic Caldera tips. I do hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, don't forget to leave a like, comment and subscribe for more. We're going to be really grinding out Caldera, and we're going to be bringing out some more Vanguard gameplay and tips soon as well. I'll try to do a nice mixture of the both on the channel because I know you guys both love it. But if you like this, please leave some love for my first Caldera video. It's been a lot of fun playing it so far. If you haven't already played it, highly recommend it. It's a lot of fun. So guys, hope you enjoyed the video. I'll speak to you in the next one.